Students, families, counselors, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever it is in the world you are joining us. Thank you so much for joining StriveScan's virtual college exploration program. This program of the next 4 days is in partnership with the colleges that change lives, and we've got Knox College this hour. A few housekeeping items before we begin. First and foremost, you are encouraged to ask questions throughout the session, and you can do so via the Q&A button that you see on the bottom of your screen. When you send a question, it gets sent to all of our panelists, and they'll work to answer the question during the session and at the conclusion of the session as well. As a reminder, your camera and your microphone are turned off. The panelists cannot see or hear you, so if you do have any questions, make sure to type them in through that Q&A. This is one of 50 information sessions and panel presentations as a part of our CTCL programming that run through Tuesday evening. I encourage you to go to strivescan.com/virtual/CTCL to see the additional sessions that are occurring. When you signed up today, you received a barcode. That barcode is not necessary for this virtual event, and I am recording this session and all of the sessions, and they will be made available on our website, strivescan.com/virtual/CTCL, the same exact place you went to register for this session, and you can check out those recordings after each session. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleagues from Knox College.
Thank you, Zach. Let me get this presentation up to share with everybody. Okay.
Perfect, looks good.
All right, well, let me start by introducing myself, and then I will have my colleagues and student panelists introduce themselves as well. So my name is Kimberly Zimmerman. I am the Director of Recruitment and Outreach here at Knox. And I am happy to talk with you guys for the next little bit here about Knox and tell you all about the great things that make Knox Knox. Colin, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep. So my name is Colin Kalmus. I'm an admission counselor here. I've been in Knox for roughly about 2.5 years now. Still feels like yesterday that I started working here. I'm incredibly excited to chat with you guys about Knox today, and then Reese, Allie, if you want to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. I'm Reese, or Tyrese. I'm a rising senior, political science major, and I have a double minor in economics and business. I'm also involved in numerous clubs on campus, as well as the football and track team, as well as any questions about anything pertaining to student life or academics within the social science fields. I'm more than happy to answer those questions.
My name is Allison. I use she, her pronouns. I am a rising junior, and I am a chemistry and creative writing double major with a dance minor. I'm a resident assistant on campus. I'm in a sorority, and I'm in Terp Dance Collective, which is our student dance organization. So, yeah.
Great. So just to give all you guys a little overview of what we're going to do, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take about the next 15-20 minutes and go through a quick PowerPoint to give you some basic facts about Knox and our majors, our programs, the opportunities that you can have here. And then we will open it up to a Q&A with Reese and Allison, our two current students. So as we're going through this PowerPoint, if you guys have questions, please feel free to type them in that Q&A box. They can be questions about your admission, application, financial aid process, but then also I really hope that you guys will ask questions specifically that Reese and Allison can answer for you about what the student experience is really like here at Knox. So we know that a lot of you guys aren't going to be able to make it to Galesburg for some time here. So we wanted to start out by telling you about our exact location, where Knox is, and a little bit about what makes Galesburg home to all of us. So Galesburg, Illinois is home to about 33,000 people and is where Knox is located. We say it's a place for food. There are 30+ restaurants within 3 minutes of campus. So, I mean, there is everything from great pizza places to Korean food, Japanese food, Mexican food. I mean, there's a ton of great places to hang out and eat and enjoy. We are about 40 minutes from Peoria to the east, and then the Quad Cities to the north. And there are airports in both of those locations, and we are about 3 hours from the city of Chicago. So Galesburg is in Western Illinois, but it is very accessible, very easy to get back and forth to. And we are right on an Amtrak line as well. So if you're flying to Chicago to get to Illinois, to get to Galesburg, you can fly to Chicago and hop on that Amtrak. and be in Galesburg in about 2.5, 3 hours. We're about a 3-hour drive from Chicago as well. Helena, you might be on mute.
Sorry, I'm not used to swapping back and forth with that. So at Knox, we have what we refer to as strong academic programs. They're highly adaptable and very intrinsic to the type of experience that you want. Some of our students here might be able to agree with this, and a lot of the students on our campus will kind of talk about the fact that there's no one pathway through Knox. There are so many different classes you can take. If you're doing biology, you could take classes that are focused within the area of pre-medicine or focused towards health sciences. Or if you want to do something all the way towards doing research in, say, biology, pursuing a PhD program down the road, both those options are available for students, and you have faculty who are guiding you through our various programs. Every single student that graduates from Knox is going to have some form of real-world experience. You're going to do internship. You're going to do a research experience. You're going to do a study abroad. And we have things at Knox that are referred to as immersion terms. They're a little bit unique, but they're entire terms that are immersive within the fields that you are interested in studying. And on top of that, you're going to do multiple. You're not just going to do one research experience. You're going to do a study abroad, use that study abroad to base off the exam, do a research project off that study abroad experience. With our community, it's incredibly open-minded. It's incredibly diverse. Roughly about 19% of our students are international students, 32% of our students self-identified students of color. And on top of that, our students are coming from 45 different states, 49 different countries. And this is a place where no matter who you are, where you come from, you're going to be uplifted in the different things that you have to say. You're also going to be challenged, and you're going to challenge other people. And all of your different ideas are going to help you grow along with one another.
A little bit of basic facts and figures. We say Knox by the numbers. We have about 1,200 students here at Knox. We are exclusively undergrad, so every student here at Knox is pursuing their 4-year bachelor's degree. We have 1,200 students. That means you're not going to get lost in the crowd by any means. Class sizes average about 14, and our student-to-faculty ratio is about 11 to 1. So you'll really be part of these close-knit conversation, discussion-based classes. Your professors are going to get to know you as a person. They're going to be able to see you in the theater shows, at poetry readings, go to your athletic events. I mean, it really, that 1,200 student population in those close-knit, small average class sizes of 14 really create the Knox community that we know and love. We do have athletics here at Knox. We are part of the NCAA Division III and Midwest Conference. We have 18 varsity different athletic teams on campus, and a little under 30% of our total student population are a varsity athlete here on campus. We also have over 100 different student organizations. So our students are really involved on campus. You'll probably join a few too many, but land on a couple that really speak to you, that you really enjoy, that turn into a really great experience for you. And certainly Reese and Allison will be able to talk to you about the different organizations and clubs that they're a part of, the sports teams, the athletics, the theater, all of that stuff that they experience from the student perspective. Our student body itself, our current students right now come from 45 different states and 49 different countries around the world. 32% of our students are students of color, and 19% of our students are international students. So that's something that, we really pride ourselves on, is this wonderful, diverse community of students. So you'll learn alongside students that are similar to you, and you'll also learn alongside students that are very different from you and have very different backgrounds and experiences that just really create this wonderfully unique, diverse living, learning community that Knox is.
I got the microphone right this time. But what do a lot of these statistics mean? A lot of schools, a lot of presentations are going to be throwing out these numbers. It's important that we provide context to all of that. Typically what that means is that you're going to encounter people from all across the entire world. I can speak to my experience when I was in undergrad of studying neuroscience, of how the approach to the brain, everything of that. I learned so much more by experiencing the different thoughts and opinions of people from all the way from Europe, Africa, South America, and hearing their opinions, their ideas shaped how I understood my field. And that helps you as you enter a lot of these different areas. Knox itself, we were founded in 1837 by abolitionists. Diversity and inclusion and access has been a huge part just from who we are from the very beginning. We want to challenge ideas. As I kind of mentioned earlier, this can be a place where you challenge others and they're going to challenge you. From the very beginning, we have been founded by people who challenge ideas, and that's incredibly important. We're also one of the first institutions to educate women and people of color. And on top of that, one thing that's not mentioned with that is that we're actually one of the first institutions to admit people regardless of their financial status. So from the very beginning, like I said, we've been about access, we've been about challenging ideas, and that just because that this is what the status quo is, that's not what's always going to be. And kind of like what we've been talking about earlier, this place where every voice is valued, that you are going to be uplifted, you're going to challenge others, they're going to challenge you, but that is a core integral part of your experience here when you're at Knox.
We were trying to figure out a way, because we know students aren't necessarily going to be able to get to Galesburg very easily this year, just with everything happening and a global pandemic. So we wanted to try to figure out a way that we could explain to you guys what it feels like to be on campus and what it feels like to be a student on campus. So this is a very small attempt at a way to kind of explain to you what being a student at Knox College really feels like. So we say it feels busy, but not chaotic by any means. We say we're productive here at Knox, but we're not exclusively goal-oriented. Knox is a collaborative place. We very much love to collaborate with one another, work alongside one another. It is not a competitive place. We do not compete with one another. We are not a home of a college that has programs where we want to weed people out by the end of their first year. We want people to live together, learn together, support one another, and be successful throughout their time here in college. We say we're philosophical. We like to ask, deep questions, have these deep philosophical conversations, but by no means are these conversations pretentious, or are the people here at Knox pretentious. We say we're very friendly. We're Midwest people, where Galesburg is kind of in the heart of Illinois, and Western Illinois, right in the middle of the Midwest. I mean, we have that Midwest friendliness, and Galesburg definitely has that Midwestern, smaller town kind of charm feel. We say that we're unapologetically smart. Knox is filled with smart, passionate people who love to learn, and it's really great to be part of a community where people are so excited and so passionate to pursue their subject areas that they're interested in, and watching these students grow and learn throughout their 4 years here. I mean, it really is fantastic. And we say we're the human-powered, Knox experience. At our core, it's the people here at Knox that makes Knox what it is. It's the students and the passionate faculty members and the staff members. So above all else, it feels human. We say Knox is a place where people do great work and they achieve great things, and they don't make a huge deal about it, because there's the recognition that there's always more great work to be done, and never are you done with pursuing the love for learning. So that's our attempt to kind of explain to you a little bit about what this Knox community and what this Knox campus really feels like to be a part of.
So we've been around for about 180 years, so it makes sense that we have a good number of traditions here. One that we can't do in a COVID-19 world, but I still love to talk about it a little bit, is pump handle. It's actually in the photo right there. Basically what it is, Teresa, our current president, she goes on campus, stands next to a pump handle. Students start lining up, they shake her hand, and once you get to the end of the line, you stand at the end and you prepare to shake everybody else's hands on campus. It's basically literally a chance to literally shake everybody on campus's hand for the first time. It's one of our first days on campus, and it really is such an awesome experience. Again, COVID-19, it's not going to happen the same way that it usually does. Historically in the past, we've had lots of hand sanitize at the same time, so we were a little bit ahead of the game with that. Flunk Day is probably every student's favorite day of the year. It's basically a random day every single spring term where classes are just canceled. Only a couple of people on campus know who it is, the students planning it, some of the staff members who have to kind of plan around things for that day. It's a very closely guarded secret. But there's tons and tons of stuff that happens that day. Literally an email goes out to the entire campus, says, it's Flunk Day, get out of bed, tons of stuff's going on. We'll have like a jumpy castle. I don't know what everybody refers to it. That's what I refer to it. But we'll also bring like musicians. I know we had, oh my God, I can't think of who we had. It's a rapper. We had him a couple years ago. We've had a ton. I'm losing track of all names, everybody, sadly. But it's a super fun day. Everybody's just hanging out, walking around the campus. We'll have a faculty staff softball game. Abraham Lincoln impersonator will be on campus there to play. I'm still trying to get a chance to strike out Abraham Lincoln. That's my life goal. But even on top of that, looking towards iFair, because we talked a little bit about diversity. iFair is an entire week-long event that stands for International Fair. Is an entire chance for students from so many different cultures, so many different backgrounds, so many different countries to just show off their culture. There's fashion festivals, there are chances for basically tons and tons of food from their backgrounds, and it's just a chance to kind of learn and experience from one another and just have really, really good food, and just also show off your culture, show off your background, because that's a huge integral part of your identity, and that's something that you should have a place that showcases that.
I think at the end, we'll ask Reese and Allison to talk about their favorite Knox traditions, because there's a lot of them, and every student kind of has their own opinion about what Knox tradition is really the best. So I think that'll be a good question for us to ask them later. Now, we wanted to obviously give you guys some of this basic information that I think everyone looks for when they're looking at colleges. We want to go over our majors and minors with you. I mean, we have more than 60 different areas of study with more than 90 different majors and minors options. So we have a number of majors that you can do either a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science in. So any major that has a plus sign next to it, you could do a Bachelor of Arts degree or a Bachelor of Science degree into it. And we're constantly looking at programs to maybe add or change and make sure that we're offering programs and majors that students are interested in pursuing and studying and that are relevant to current times. So we just added in actually a data science major. This fall will be the first term that we are offering a full-fledged data science major. That is definitely one of our newer programs. Programs that are highlighted in purple are newer programs, and like I mentioned, the ones with the plus sign next to them, you can get a Bachelor of Science or a Bachelor of Art degree in them. We also have a variety of different cooperative programs and things for students to choose from, including things like early admission program with medical school with George Washington University. We have accelerated law programs with the University of Chicago and Indiana University. We have 3-2 engineering partnership programs with schools like Washington University in St. Louis, University of Illinois, Columbia University. I mean, we encourage students to pursue not just one area of academic interest, but also have a second area of academic focus, maybe a second minor or a concentration or something like pre-medicine or something along those lines. So we encourage students to pursue multiple areas of academic interest so you have that really full-fledged, well-rounded liberal arts education, not just from your elements, not just from your general education courses, but from the core subject areas that you're studying throughout your 4 years. And as you saw from that first slide and in hearing Reese and Allison, our students are very much pursuing more than one subject area at a time. They have majors and minors in several different areas that they're passionate about in different subjects that they're doing research in. So I always say that the Knox student really needs to have that love for learning and want to pursue different subject areas. And if you're not sure what you want for your major yet, I mean, we have academic advisors and programs that will help you figure that out. So it's perfectly fine if you are still sorting out what you want to study as a major. Our students don't declare their major till the end of their sophomore year. So they definitely have time to kind of explore and take your general education classes and really think about what you want to pursue as a major here at Knox.
So we kind of talk about the human-powered experience, and that really does entail something of having real-world experience. Those are things such as I mentioned, research, creative work, internships, community service, study abroad, immersion terms. These are all things that really kind of, sometimes serve as a capstone to your experience here at Knox. Every single student is going to graduate with some form of experiential learning opportunity. 89% of all students do some form of research project, whether it's independent study, research, or some type of creative project. And on top of that, students are often doing internships, and we have the Bastion Family Career Center that helps students in actually getting acquainted with different internship opportunities, whether it's ones that are being offered to us by alum or organizations that often reach out to us. We have a huge alumni network in the city of Chicago that we often rely on for students to do different internship opportunities. And on top of that, community service is huge at Knox. Just about every single student I know has done community service in some capacity here. We've been on the President's Honor Roll a number of years for producing over 30,000 hours of community service. We've gone far above and beyond and often put out 60,000 hours of community service. So it's not just something we're doing to get a award or medal or anything like that. We're doing it because our students care about it. It's something that they're passionate about and they care about so much. These immersion terms I talked about earlier, some of the ones that we offer are things such as clinical psychology term, Green Oaks term, which actually students will get a chance to live off of the land within our Green Oaks Nature Preserve. That is a 700-acre field station that's available to students. On top of that, we have Japan term, Open Studio, Repertory Theater, and Startup term. Startup term is always a really cool one. It's based the entire term where students have a chance to actually create their own idea for a startup company. Really cool. It's a combination from our business computer science department. It oftentimes for students pursuing business, it's something that helps them out in the future in the long run. And on top of that, we have the Power of Experience grant. It's a $2,000 grant that's available to every single student. You can use it towards research, internships. If let's say you're doing research, pay for participants in a survey or lab chemicals. Internships, pay for professional clothing as you're working for a Fortune 500 company. Or if you're living in a different city, help pay for your rent. Study abroad or some type of off-campus study in the US, pay for your plane ticket there and back to a different country. It's really open-ended for the type of experience that you want to use it for. And on top of that, it was basically created to make it more accessible for students to have different types of experiential learning opportunities. So.
So what happens after you graduate from Knox? I mean, our students continue on to do a number of different things. One of the things a lot of our students do is go to graduate school. Our graduates have pursued master's degrees, PhD degrees at schools like Carnegie Mellon, Harvard, Yale, Northwestern, MIT, as well as, a number of other universities across the country, across the world. Of our 2020 grads, so of our students that just graduated back here in June, we have one student that we know is pursuing a chemistry degree at Yale, an advanced degree in chemistry, and then we have one student that's pursuing a master's degree in neuroscience at the University of Copenhagen. So our students really do graduate from Knox and go all over the country, all over the world to pursue advanced degrees. We have 16,000 alumni that have gone on to pursue meaningful careers throughout their time or throughout their lives. 97% of our alumni in a recent survey have said that they felt prepared for life after college here at Knox. 83% in that same survey said they're pursuing meaningful work 10 years after graduating from Knox. And we just had a Knox Pride Day back in June as well. I want to say it was just a couple months ago here. We had over 2,000 alumni donors donate on our last Knox Proud Day. So that's just another way to, we can ask our alumni these surveys, ask them these questions, but seeing them in action and seeing them donate back to Knox kind of shows us how they value their Knox experience and what they thought of their Knox experience. So, I mean, we're really proud of the passion that our alumni still have for Knox and for the college experience that they got to have here for their 4 years. And if you guys are curious about what alumni are doing in certain areas, certain majors, certain programs, on our website, if you go to the academic page, so say you go to the academic page for biology, there is a section on each academic page that will list what alumni are doing in that field, who studied, that program here at Knox. So dig around on our website a little bit, but as always, reach out to us if you guys have questions or want outcomes for a specific program or specific major or ideas of what an alumni does with a certain degree, with a creative writing degree or a biology degree or med school, acceptance rates and things like that. We're more than happy to kind of dive into all of those details for you if you do have specific questions about any of those. Now let's see here. I am actually going.
What makes you the person that you are? What defines you growing up as a person, and how did you get here to this moment?
I've loved the community. You always greet with smiles. Everybody's super unique here.
I got to Knox and I realized that people weren't really judging me for my ideas and my opinions. I became more at ease with being in my own skin and being able to express myself and articulate my ideas.
All the people I've met with my friends and my teachers who just come with different backgrounds and different experiences and perspectives have changed the way I look at the world.
I love the freedom.
Breaking out and trying something new and challenging.
I started going out of my way to do things that I didn't think I could typically do. I became an RA, I became a writing tutor, I'm a Red Room captain.
I joined clubs that I never thought I was going to be in.
I've changed a lot. I have changed a whole lot.
I love all the opportunities available to me. I'm a chemistry major, mathematics minor, member of Chem Club. I also play in 2 ensembles.
I wanted to explore. I wanted to see what my passion was. And I took an international relations class. It changed my life.
I went into a foreign country not knowing anybody who is in the program, not knowing the language, having a fantastic time just throwing myself in there, meeting all these new people and learning all these amazing things.
I love doing new reactions. I love creating new chemicals, new compounds.
One of the greatest things about Knox is that it's afforded me these opportunities to study abroad, to do these internships and get paid for them, to do an honors project. That's really kind of shaped who I am now.
Oh, there's inherent greatness in everyone.
Just got to keep looking up.
I was going to provide an introduction for that video, and then it kind of just started playing on me. So I think you guys kind of figured out what that was. That was essentially 4 years at Knox, and what we say 4 years at Knox in 124 seconds. So just another kind of easy way to give you guys a glimpse into campus life and intro you some images and some students and a little bit more insight into what your Knox experience could be like here.
So before I go into this slide, just another reminder that we do have a Q&A portion. We will be moving into Q&A soon, so please feel free to start getting some questions in there. So some ways to think about the value of a Knox education. Education is incredibly adaptable. We are not just preparing you for the world that you enter when you graduate from Knox. We are preparing you for the world 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. It's highly likely you could be working in a field 20 years from now that doesn't exist today. We are preparing you for that. I mean, oftentimes businesses, graduate programs, just people in general are looking for people with liberal arts degrees because it makes you adaptable, because it is not just you understanding one specific way to do research on one specific, I can't speak, one specific thing or create a specific program. We are creating, we are helping build you into somebody who is going to be adaptable, know how to understand to move from fields and how to make that transition. It's education that works. You're going to get hands-on experience. You're going to do research. You're going to do internship. You're going to get actual applications of the type of things you're taught in the classroom. And it's not just going to be one thing. It's going to be multiple experiences. And they're going to prepare you for the world. Again, it's going to prepare you for that adaptability. It's going to prepare you for the world that you enter when you graduate, but also 10, 20, 30 years from now. And it's education with power. We have alumni who go on to become teachers, become doctors, become times most influential people. They go on and even if they just become, say, a salesman, or they become a project manager or a lawyer or anything like that, they are not just doing that work. They are also entering these spaces and making differences and affecting the lives of others and people that they interact with. They become volunteers and they become social justice activists. They do so many different things, and it's so amazing to talk with our students, see the different experiences that they're having now, and seeing all the different ways that they're going to graduate from here and impact the lives of others.
All right, so we are at the point now where we can definitely answer questions. I see we've had some questions come through the Q&A, which is great. So please keep asking questions in the Q&A. We'll start to dive into those. But I think I'm going to ask Allison and Reese to pop back on here and join us. I think I'm going to kick it off, and then we'll dig through the Q&A and see if we can find some other questions to ask from you guys. Reese, we'll have you answer first, and then Allison will have you answer after that. I'm curious, just to kind of kick us off, tell us one thing that has surprised you about Knox. So maybe one thing that you didn't know about Knox until you were a student here, kind of physically on campus.
I think it's almost, I don't want to say cliche or like an understatement, but when they say Knox will change your life and like open new doors for you, I think, especially me going to my senior year, you really don't understand what that means. Like for the longest, I knew I wanted to go to law school. Like I wanted to get a JD. That was 100% my life goal. And now being in my senior year, I've done 3 of my own research projects, 2 of which are published, 1 in the works currently. And I am now contemplating between going to law school or doing some joint program for research, because like I just fell in love with research and this idea of a PhD. And I think the amount of support that you get from people to open new doors, and find out, like, I have advisors and my mentor who might email me like, hey, look into this joint program. They're doing JD and PhD. This would be great for you. Or I have colleagues, and Lane Sunderland, who was the head of the pre-law department, who retired, which I'm sad to see him go, but he's put like me so far in with Indiana University that they're like, we will fee waiver this, application this, and we've already set up your living expenses and everything like that. Please apply to our school for law school. So like just the amount of like support and change that can really come within 4 years is just absolutely like astounding.
One of the things that surprised me, I guess, is we talk about how easy it is to do experiential learning. And so I knew that experiential learning was going to be a thing. But it honestly surprised me how easy it is. At Knox, it's all the opportunities are like right in front of you, and all it takes is to barely reach out your hand and it's there. I had a conversation with a professor just asking her about what her research topics were. And then by the end of the meeting, she offered me a spot in her research group. Things like that, even when it comes to funding. We talk about the Power of Experience grant. I haven't had to use it yet, but I'm doing research at Knox this summer. I have a stipend, so I'm getting paid. I have my housing paid for. There are plenty of other grants even that you can apply for beyond just your Power of Experience grant. It makes it really doable to actually achieve those experiential learning.
So we have one question here. Do students need a car? Is Galesburg very walkable? Is there public transportation available? So if you guys just kind of want to talk a little bit about what you do around town and what you can kind of walk to versus need a car to get to. And Reese, can you turn your video on for us the next time you answer a question, please?
Yeah, it says my video is actually disabled by the host, so I'm not able to turn it.
Oh no, okay. Let's see, Reese, you answer first.
Oh, here we go.
We'll have Allison.
Here.
There you go. So you just needed to say it out loud, and the magical host was able to fix it for you. Good to see you.
For me, I'm coming from California, so when I decided to journey to Knox, I didn't bring a car. Hours on planes and then a train, and I think going from Chicago into Galesburg is probably one of the biggest cultural shocks for me personally. But I found that everything is within walking distance, and because the community is so small, you will always know someone who has a car if you need to go somewhere. So like I've never had problems going into like Target or Walmart if I need to get some groceries or what have you. Me personally, what I do is like the food places. I think my freshman year, Main Street wasn't done yet. It was still under construction. And then sophomore year, it was up and running, which really just connected everything. So me personally, I mostly stayed on the Cherry Street side of things, and probably been to Big more times than I like to admit, and things of that nature. But in terms of going into town, there are plenty of things within, I would say, 15 minutes, like tops, for you to do. I know the bowling alley has closed, but that was some fun things to do. But there's always a lot to do in town besides getting food, I promise. But like food is one of the best ones because there's just so many different cuisines for you to try. I think another big one is like AMC, like going to the movies. To me, like in California, movie ticket like $14, like, you know, just ridiculous. Galesburg, like $6, $7, and it's like all of 10 minutes away. You and a buddy and buddies get into cars and like go see 4 different movies in a week. It's, you know, fantastic in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I have a car on campus, and I have a car on campus because I knew that I was going to have an off-campus job. I ended up working with a local marching band as their color guard instructor just by contacting people in the community. So I have a car, and then I just take everyone, like if I'm going to Walmart, I ask everyone around me, all of my friends, my residents, I ask them if they need to go to Walmart, things like that. So if you don't have a car, someone you know will. You also don't have to pay for parking passes. You don't have like campus safety running around like meter maids trying to make sure you're parked in the right spots. It's really accessible. It's very easy. Yeah.
Ellen, you're muted again.
I'm so bad at that. So another question we got that I think is going to be very perfect right now, since a lot of students might not get the chance to see our campus. So when you visited campus, what stood out to you and what sort of made you want to go to Knox?
I'm horrible at this question. I never took a visit to Knox, and that's a whole different story for my journey to Knox. But when I showed up at Knox, the first thing that got me was how close the train station was to the campus. I think like it's just right there, and to me, I've never personally like lived in the Midwest. I've lived everywhere else because of Navy family and things of that nature. But one, I say the plus, everything's within walking distance. So I can get from one academic building to my dorm to another academic building. And then 2, the scenery, like the campus is like really well kept. And I think a lot of people don't like, it's like something that we just don't talk about, but it's like widely accepted, you know, like you get the trees and you might see a bench and the bench actually has history. Or like the gardens that we have history, and they have like plaques. And it's like, oh, these, you know, Knox alums or students and things of that nature, I think is really fantastic. And I think the biggest one for me is Knox is small enough to where you get to know a majority of people, but big enough to where you can still find your own space, if that makes sense. And I think that to me just became one of the coolest parts, especially like I spent a lot of time in the library, but then you go study with a friend and like, look, you know, this is where I study. Like, I didn't even know this was back here on the 2nd floor or on the 3rd floor. And it's very vast for such a small place.
Yeah, I saw I guess pretty much a lot of the same things. Knox is such a beautiful campus. It's nice just walking around and seeing other people. I was immediately struck by how open everybody was, how welcoming, how engaging everybody was. My admissions counselor was a rock star. She went above and beyond. And just in general, everyone I talked to from Knox, those were the kind of people I wanted to be around. Those were the people I could see myself growing with and becoming, as cliche as it is, like the best version of me. So yeah, I think it was just the connections I made before I even got to campus is what really struck me about before I came to Knox.
So the next question, how accessible are professors kind of beyond normal office hours? And then also if you guys want to talk a little bit about the advisor relationship. So what that advisor relationship is like with the professor. The question was, are the student advisors solely professors, or are they older students as well? At Knox, all of the advisors are professors, faculty members here at Knox. So if you guys want to talk a little bit about that relationship between professors, how available they are, and then also the advisor relationship.
So when you first get to campus, you're be paired with an advisor who's, you know, typically not within any type of like major that you might be interested in. I mean, my advisor, James Thrall, was in the religion department. and that was so far from, and before COVID happened, a lot of times the advisors would take you out to like dinner, you and kind of everyone else, the first year advisees. And then your sophomore year at the end, once you declare, you then pick another academic advisor within the field. I think the cool part about Knox is everyone is very accessible. Like you could go to anyone or be like pointed to anyone and no one's going to turn you away. Even though it's still crazy, I'm still getting used to the whole senior year. I've been here at Knox going on 4 years now, but James Thrall, who was my first advisor, he will still email me asking me about my classes, if I need help with anything. His office hours are very open. Especially within your department, you'll get a lot of open communications. I think I joke a lot, and we joke a lot as a like pre-law program and poli-sci department, that a lot of our meetings just end up to us like catching up and telling a bunch of random jokes. So it's not uncommon for you to, I need to talk to the one professor, but run into another professor and then spend equally amount of time talking to that professor as you do with the other professor. So I think, and this to me is something I wish I would have known as a first year, to just give advice. Don't be scared to go approach professors for advising or anything. They want you to be there. I don't know a professor in my tenure at Knox that has not had office hours, but their office hours are really open door policy where you could pop in anytime to go speak with them. And it's actually highly encouraged. I think it's the best part about Knox is you will never get, the note on the door that's like, I'm only here Tuesday, that's a leap year, at 4 to 5 when I'm not on lunch at 3:50 or something. They're like, yes, please come in. Bring all your questions. I've been waiting for this all day.
Yeah, I've always had amazing experiences with all my professors. I jumped right into organic chemistry as a first year, so I was just kind of like floundering in this, like I dived straight into my major. And my professor really just kind of helped me through it, because I didn't have the groups that most other students had already made in Gen Chem. So I didn't have my like study group. So she was able to help me. I was in her office so much. She helped me a lot. In general, I've also had creative writing professors who I just like walk in and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to go with a story. I don't know what to, like, I need help. And regardless of what they're doing, they'll like stop and they'll help you. They'll walk you through it. I had a professor who, she just had a rule where if you had a question, you could text her or call her. So there's a group of us studying in the library and we were like, nope, this is not working out. Like we weren't getting the right answer. So then we just called her and put her on speakerphone, and like she helped talk us through the like one of the things that we were stuck on. So your professors are available at all hours. Sometimes they'll answer emails at 2 a.m. when they should not be awake and when you should not be awake. But they're there for you. I have 2 advisors. I have one for each of my majors. So if you are a double major, you will get an advisor in each major. It's been really helpful to me because I can talk to one specifically about creative writing and one about chemistry, and you can pick your advisors. I talked to each of them individually and said, hey, like, would you be willing to be my advisor? And both of them said yes. So that's, I was already able to make those like really great connections with them, and I rely on them a lot. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. So, I mean, a big part of Knox is the fact that we're a 4-year residential college. Roughly about 99% of our students live on campus. So it's incredibly important for students to know, what are the dorms like? What's residential life? Things like that. So, I mean, just the main question, what's residential life like?
I will say, like, just kind of like spoiler, I was spoiled in terms of my residential life. My first year, I lived in Seymour. I was on the second floor of Seymour, which our Seymour Union building houses our gizmo, our cafeteria. So when the snow starts to come, I didn't have to go too far, like Frederick Haas campus to get there. And then when I joined my fraternity, I ended up living into my fraternity house, which is also pretty central to campus. So even then, I'm not going too far. but it's really opening and welcoming. I think you'll spend a lot of time in a lot of different residential halls because you're going to meet so many people, whether you have an FP or you go see a theater play or you're at sporting events, and then it being so open-ended, except for Seymour. But like when you have Taylor Lounge and everything else, like right below you, it doesn't need to have such a sweet feel. But when you do get into like the quads and the sweet fills, it's definitely open, and you build almost a family relationship, where that open space becomes time for movies and game nights. Like I was invited to so many different things that like, because again, I lived in Seymour that we didn't have because you don't have that suite area with everything below. But definitely like in the quads and things further back, they were like, yeah, you should come over. We're playing, board games or watching a movie and things of that nature. And that relationship you build, carries on and you see that. And I think it's one of the most phenomenal parts about Knox because it's so easy to be somewhere and not interact with people, but the way Knox is set up, it wants you to interact with people. And I think that's the best part about living on campus is that you're not just there 4 years with strangers, but you're there 4 years with people you really get to know.
So I'm an RA, which means that I am very involved in residential life. So yeah, Knox is a 4-year residential institution, which I think they mentioned. So you will live here for 4 years, but what you live in, like there's so many different options. You can live in on-campus apartments, you can live in townhouses, you can live in a themed house. If you get enough friends, you can have a house in any theme, whether that be like cooking or anime or Harry Potter, whatever you would like. So there are those options for housing, like, so you're not going to be in the same kind of like hallway dorm your entire time. But even for first years, so I'm a first year RA, which means that I'm very involved in like the first year experience. So your RA is there to make sure that you're not holed up in your room all alone, not able to talk to everybody. They'll help you create a community, and that's, like Reese said, like that's really, you're gonna make those connections and you're gonna connect to the people you're living with. So yeah.
I just want to say one more thing. I know we got a bunch of questions, which we were really excited about. Thank you guys for asking all of these fantastic questions. I know we did not get to them all. So within the next week, those of you that have unanswered questions kind of still hanging out there, we'll be reaching out to you from admissions. So your admission counselor, another admission counselor, will reach out to you individually and kind of follow up and give you those answers that you're looking for. And I'm glad we had so many fantastic questions, but I am sorry we did not get to them all. So thank you guys for helping us make this part of the conversation really great.
Thank you so much to the team at Knox for this information, and students and counselors, thanks for joining us. As you close this window, a very quick 4-question survey will appear. We do ask for your feedback on today's session, and sign up for additional panels and information sessions that are CTCL based through Tuesday at strivescan.com/virtual/CTCL. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.